Hello. Okay, we get people that are in the waiting room in Zoom. We're gonna get them connected. Perfect. Okay,
There you go.
that's great. Hello, Stephen and Davidia. Hi,
Ciao,
guys.
Carlo, come stai?
Ciao. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I don't see your drinking hats of the Perbacco Wine Club.
Okay,
Right
un
over
attimo, un attimo. Where are they, girlie?
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay, we have a bunch of people following us online as well, because they're probably too shy to be in our Zoom call. Now
Okay.
we're talking.
Migliore?
No, I can't. I have might mess up my hairdo, but that's
Don't
all
worry
right.
about it, darling. You'll be all
For
right.
everyone else following this, the guys on the video here, Steven and Davidia, they will be in Italy in 20 days from now, not even 20 days from now. You guys gonna be here in Italy from California. So this is very exciting to have you guys coming back to Italy. Very exciting. I'm so looking forward to see you guys and to spend some time with you too.
Us too.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do right now. That's for sure.
It's not an easy thing to do, but totally worth it. We are getting more and more people coming back from United States, especially from Europe. We've always had tourists from Europe in the last year, except from when the lockdown obviously was incredibly strict. So, for instance, following us now, we have Michael and Nula from Germany. They've been to Montepulciano last year in September, but it's such a great feeling. It's a wonderful feeling to be able to host you guys again and to go back to a normal life. I know it's gonna cost you more money to come here because of the COVID test, the COVID-free flights, but I'm sure it'll be worth it.
It is.
Okay, I'm gonna go just myself online just for the moment. We're gonna make the introduction. I'm gonna do the introduction, and then we can share the video. We can be as many people as you want can be on the screen. We can share the screen together. Yeah, I'm gonna deactivate the video for you guys, Steven and the video, and we do the presentation. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Pronti.
Siamo pronti. Yeah, we're ready. Okay, just this ugly guy on the screen now. I'm gonna share the screen and gonna go ahead with the presentation. Hold on a second. Before, I'm gonna make a little pre-introduction. Uh, all the people with us tonight tasting the wines are from, belong to the Perbacco Wine Club, so they know me already. But for some people that are watching this on Facebook, I've never seen this ugly face. My name is Francesco Maramai. I'm the head sommelier of the Osteria del Borgo and Perbacco Wine Club in Montepulciano, Italy. We are doing a series of online events like the one that we did last fall and winter. We do a short series of events for this spring. 3 weeks ago, we did the first event of 2021 online event, which was Sardinian and Sicilian wines. We explored these two incredible, beautiful, and amazing wine regions, such as Sicily and Sardinia, these two incredible islands. Today, it's going to be very exciting for me because I'm a white wine lover. So today we have Italian white and orange wines. Very exciting to find out about orange wines. A lot of people ask me, what's an orange wine? How is it made? Is it made with oranges? No, we'll find out how the wine is made and how amazing it is. So get ready, get your taste buds ready because we're gonna taste some amazing orange wines too. Oh, I see Vince here. Hey bro, how you doing? I'm gonna deactivate your video for just a second, yeah, and then I'm gonna go with the introduction. Okay, that was Vince from Raleigh, North Carolina. So the next event is going to be next Sunday, the last event of this spring's series of online tastings is going to be Italian sparkling wines, which is going to be incredibly interesting because I'm a sparkling wine lover as well, and I'm very excited to show the difference between Prosecco method, so fermentation in the tank, versus Champenoise method for the fermentation in the bottle. Very interesting. So I think we can get started. I'm going to share the screen and you will see the presentation that I did with the precious help of Mary and Matteo from the Perbacco Wine Bar. Here it is. Italian white and orange wines. How exciting is that? The presentation was made by me again and by Mary Cerini and Matteo Rossi from the Perbacco Wine Bar. Mary's here with me. She's too shy to appear on the video, even though she looks gorgeous as usually. Okay. Let's go to the next page. My computer is as slow as usual. White wines, history. We have at least 7,000 years of history for both red wine and white wine. We don't know which wine was born first, but we have many proofs that they had the same path. They were born about the same time. So archaeological evidence suggests that winemaking dates back to at least the 6th millennium before Christ. Never considered less important than red, white wine was even prescribed by Hippocrates in ancient Greece around 450 years before Christ as medicaments for his patients. So think how amazing is that? You go to the doctor, you have a problem, you have a disease, and your doctor says, okay, you should drink, you know what, you should drink some white wine. That'll be amazing. That would be my doctor, the doctor that I will pick. So he would prescribe Venus white wine and bitter white wine that were used among his remedies, a sign of diversity in production at that time. So we have proof that, they were producing not just one type of white wine, but different types of white wine. So it's very interesting. We have proof that, you had a Venus white wine, a younger probably, and a bitter white wine. Probably the Venus white wine was sweet and the bitter white wine was probably dry. That's what we're figuring out. The Romans loved their white wine as well. They were often mixing the white wine with honey and spices. In the Middle Age, France and Germany, with their cooler weather compared to other winemaker regions such as Italy and Spain at the time, developed a higher quality production in Moselle and Burgundy especially. Nowadays, white wine is considered as important as its red equivalent for quality, price, and believe it or not, aging potential as well. So, I like to talk about money every once in a while. I'm an entrepreneur, so this is the list of the most expensive wines in the world as per today listed on the website that makes comparison in between prices of different wines. So you see, many people erroneously think that red wine is far more expensive than white wine, but it's not necessarily true because among the most expensive wines of the world, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of the first 12 wines, we have 5 white wines. So, you have some amazing white wines too that are sold for a really high price point. Oh, very interesting. This is the difference in between acidity and minerality, between freshness and sapidity. So you have both elements in all the wines that you are tasting. In all the online tasting and all the live tastings that we have done in the history of the Perbacco Wine Club, I've always described all the wines as more or less fresh, as more or less mineral, sapid. So acidity is described as freshness in wine tasting. So the slide says that especially drinking a white wine, we feel a sensation of freshness and acidity, which causes a prolonged salivation. So the salivation of the acidity that is caused by the fixed by the tartaric acidity that you have in the pulp, that you have in the wine, gives you a prolonged salivation. Usually the salivation of the acidity is more liquid than the one provoked by minerality. That is a little bit more fluid, kind of a fluid salivation. It's very gross to talk about saliva and salivation. I know, I don't want to gross you out. A lot of you guys are having lunch now. I don't want to ruin that, but still, just to make you understand the difference between the two components. While minerality is due to the minerals that are in the soil, to the salinity that you have in the soil, and is described in the wine tasting as sapidity. So the wine is sapid, less or more sapid, less or more mineral. So when we feel a lively and rich organoleptic framework sustained by a sensation of salinity and minerality due to the mineral salts dissolved in the wine, you have sapidity. So again, the two kind of salivations that you have from acidity or freshness is the fluid, is the liquid, is the more fluid salivation, and sapidity gives you a thicker salivation. Very interesting to find out about your salivation and your taste buds while you drink a wine. Now you understand that. It's very gross, but it's a step that we had to do. So with the beautiful background of Tuscan vineyards, we have this slide, the most diverse wine country in the world. And this is a fact. We're talking about numbers. Frenchies, they can say they make the best wine of the world, whatever, but I'm talking about facts. We are the most diverse wine country in the world, which is beautiful, but it's also very misleading for the final consumer. We have so many grapes, we have so many different type of soil, so many different winemaking regions, so many different traditions. Sometimes the appellation, there are too many, and sometimes they fight among each others. So it's difficult, to represent the whole country with this many different kind of appellation, these many different kind of wines. But anyway, so Italy, stretching in length for 1,000 kilometers, so 736 miles from the Alps to the Mediterranean Sea, is the most diverse winemaking country in the world, with different climates, soils, and grape varietals. Biggest producer of wine in the world, Italy holds the record for most grape varieties, 500. France, which is the second biggest producer, has 60 grape varieties. Think about the difference, almost 10 times bigger the grape varieties compared to the one in France. We have different white wine regions. Obviously, this is just the sum of the wine regions that we have. There's so many of them. The tasting should last 50 hours talking about different Italian wine regions. So we can divide into north, south, north, central Italy, southern Italy, and islands. So northern Italy, you have elevation, cooler weather, because geographically we are in the north, more developed white wine culture, obviously due to these factors, to cooler weather and elevation, and also they have elevation because they're close by the Alps. The main regions for white wines are Alto Adige or Südtirol, by the border with Austria, Collio, Friuli, which is right by the border with Slovenia, Piedmont, and Veneto, where they make amazing Proseccos. Local varieties, the most important ones are Ribolla, Friulano, Timorasso in Piedmont, Garganega, and Kerner in the north. International grapes are Pinot Grigio, which is very popular. Italian Pinot Grigio is very popular in America. I was very surprised to find out how popular Pinot Grigio is. Chardonnay, obviously, Sauvignon Blanc, and Riesling. The wines from the north, usually due to the elevation and cooler weather, are crispy, lighter, elegant, vibrant, and mineral. These are the characteristics. Central Italy, so Tuscany, Umbria, Marche, and Abruzzo. Here you have hills, you have the shores, so you have the seaside. The sea is very important factor because gives temperature swing, control the temperature. The temperature doesn't get too warm by the sea because the sea releases a cooler temperature. So nice temperature swings, and also gives salinity and minerality to the wine. Very, very important for central Italy. So the main regions are obviously Tuscany, both by the coast and inland, Umbria, Marche, which is an amazing region, and Abruzzo as well. Abruzzo, doesn't get enough credit. Mary is cheering because part of her family, she's from Abruzzo, so she always loves to drink wines from Abruzzo. Local varieties, Trebbiano, Grechetto, that we will taste today, Verdicchio, Vernaccia, the popular Vernaccia di San Gimignano, here close to Montepulciano, and Vermentino by the coast of Tuscany. International grapes, obviously Chardonnay is covers the majority of the vineyards destined to white wine and having international grapes. So characteristics of these wines are structure, often buttery, especially with the use of oak in the inland, and more mineral close to the shore, and crispier as well by the shore. Now we go to analyze southern Italy with the beautiful background of the Amalfi Coast. You see, they make wine here in the Amalfi Coast right here. I can hear somebody.
You guys can be like hostile. You can be hostile.
A second, can you please activate the audio? Second. Vince, Candence,
Sorry.
can you please deactivate the video? Okay, the audio, yeah. Okay, I just don't know what happened. Okay. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Yeah, white wine region, southern Italy. You have warmer climate, you have seaside as well, volcanic areas such as Vesuvius and Vulture, extensive production like in Apulia, and you have the mountains as well. Guys, I can hear me in the background. Okay, here we are. Oh, so sorry about that. This happens when I'm by myself doing the presentations. Okay, sorry for this incident. Okay, so southern Italy, you have warmer climate, seaside, volcanic areas such as Vesuvius and Vulture, and extensive production such as Apulia and the mountains in the Apennines. So the main regions are Campania. Oh, Jesus, guys, it's a disaster. I just hear myself all the time. Disaster. Okay, everybody audios is deactivated. Okay. Do you guys hear me twice? Because I hear myself twice with like a delay, 20 seconds delay.
We don't have a delay. We can just hear you once.
Amazing. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna take this off then. Yeah. Okay, dokie. So yeah, so mostly local varieties in southern Italy. You have Falanghina, Greco, and Verdeca in Apulia. The wines are, structured usually, especially in Apulia, you find really good values, and more mineral and complex in Campania. Now we go to analyze the islands. We talked for 2 hours about islands 3 weeks ago. Obviously, the most important wine region is Etna that we analyzed 2 weeks ago. You have volcanic soils, slopes, and ventilation in Etna. Otherwise, you have seaside and warmer climates. So here in Sicily and Sardinia, you mostly have local varieties such as Grillo, Catarratto, and Carricante in Sicily, Vernaccia di Oristano in Sardinia, and Malvasia in smaller islands. So the wines are crispy with mineral whites in Etna, like we analyzed 3 weeks ago, generous and warm whites in Sicily. In Sardinia, you have really strong whites as well. So white wine, vinification, how white wine is made. So you harvest the grapes. You harvest the grapes when they're ripe. You press the grapes. You have the settling in the fermentation tank. Then you add the yeast. The yeast turns sugar into alcohol. So, in the pulp, you have sugars, you add the yeast, you have the fermentation, and the fermentation it's the chemical process that transforms the sugar into alcohol. Okay, very important that I forgot to mention, when you press the grapes, you take the skins off usually, and these are white wines, yeah? So fermentation Fermentation lasts for at least 10 to 15 days, usually at controlled temperature, because you don't want the temperatures during the fermentation to go too high, otherwise you develop bad aromas. In some of the whites, the one that are meant to be aged or aged in oak or meant to last for a long time, you have the malolactic fermentation, which is another chemical process, the second fermentation that transforms malic acid, that is very straightforward, into lactic acid. The same bacteria that make yogurt, long story short. So you have a more creamy kind of freshness. Then you stir the yeast, the deposit that you have in the fermentation tank or in the barrel, and then you do the blending and the clarification of the wine and the bottling. So how is orange wine made? Is it made out of oranges? No, this woman, she's freaking out. What are you guys doing? This is not orange wine. This is just orange juice. We love orange juice, but orange wine is a whole different story. So the vinification of orange wine. So before talking about orange wine, we have to talk about, again, tannins as well. Because the difference in between orange wine and white wine is that you have a little bit of tannins as well. So if you drink it at room temperature, it can be compared to a red wine more than a white wine. An orange wine is a wine made out of white grapes vinified in red, following the same process as red wine. So with maceration in the skin. So the skins of the white wine, they don't contain as many tannins as the skins of red wines, but still they have tannins as well. Not as pronounced, not as strong as red grapes, but still you have a tannic kick in orange wine that we'll find out about. So the stems, skins, and seeds of the grapes contain a chemical compound called tannin. Tannin has a bitter quality and acts as astringent. So tannin binds to protein in our saliva, causing them to separate from the liquid of our saliva. Thus producing a drying sensation and a sense of bitter quality in the mouth. So, you pick the ripe grapes that are harvested and sorted for quality. The grapes are, as said, from white grapes. You do a firm press, and the selected grapes are put through a crusher, which breaks the skin. The juice and the skins are put into a vat to make the fermentation. The vat can be made of wood, metal, concrete, cement, or clay for the fermentation. So the number of weeks the skin remains in contact with the juice increases the color, flavor, and tannin of the wine. The material the vat is made from will impact the final flavor of the wine as well, and will also change how long the fermentation will last. So finally, winemaker chooses to whether filter or not filter the wines. Very interesting to find out about the vinification of orange wine. This is the clay vessel that was used in Georgia 6,000 years before Christ, and is still used nowadays, both in Georgia and both in the north of Italy, to make orange wine. It's called Kvevri. I don't know if I pronounced correctly. Okay, perfect. So I think we can just open the bottles of wine. Here we are. Okay. 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 I solved my problem of delay. Do you guys wanna be on the video as well? You can activate your video. I'm gonna pour the first wine. You guys have any questions? You can chat with me, or you can activate your video as well. Otherwise, it's gonna be just me on the screen. Okay. Sorry for the technical inconvenience. This happens when I'm just on my own doing doing the tasting. Okay, let's go with the first wine then. So I'm gonna share the screen again with the technical description. Okay, this is gonna be the wine lineup. So the first wine is Fischer Sauvignon Blanc Saxum 2020. The second one is Chateau Garage SARTEANO Toscana IGT. The third one is going to be the wine from Abruzzo, La Valentina Trebbiano d'Abruzzo Superiore Spelt Gold 2018. The fourth one is going to be Salviano Grecchetto from Umbria. The fifth one is going to be the orange wine Damian, the Ribolla Gialla. The sixth one is going to be Dornac Gewürztraminer, another orange wine. Okay, the beautiful background of Alto Adige. Beautiful, beautiful background. This region is spectacular, right by the border with Austria. Sorry, a second. Le puoi aprire tutte? Can you open all the bottles, please? Right by the border with Austria. Unbelievable place. Unbelievable white wines. One of the best white wine regions of Italy and of the world. So this is, look how beautiful this place is. Feature, I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, because even though they are located in Italy, their main language is German, because they live just right by the border with Austria. So this is the Fischer family, 3 generations in this beautiful land making wine. See how spectacular the view is. See how steep these slopes are. Very hard to work in this place. I mean, these that I'm pointing now is more flat. This right here is very, very steep up the hill. So technical details about this wine. Feature Sauvignon Blanc Saxum Alto Adige 2020. Grape is 100% is in stainless steel on its lees, so on its yeast. Altitude is in between 500 meters and 900 meters above sea level, so very steep slopes like we saw in the photo. The soil is mostly calcareous from the Ice Age. Alcohol percentage 12.5. Price is going to be 28 euros. Okay, here we activate. Okay, I'm gonna activate you guys on video. Okay, so you can activate your video. Here you are. It's great to see you guys. Good to see you, Vince, Davidia, and Stephen. Candace is there as well. Hello to everyone. I want to say hello to people online with us. Even Chris and Annette are online. There you go, guys. Great. Okay. First wine. This guy right here, Fischer Sauvignon Blanc Saxum 2020. Cheers. Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful shape. Okay. So the features are, the family living in Alto Adige and making wine for 3 generations. They're living, working there and together as a whole family. You can't get more Italian than this, like working with your family. I know something about it. I was just serving food in the restaurant just 50 minutes ago. So we love family businesses. So, in this beautiful scenario, just by the Dolomite Mountains, where you have steep slopes and cold weather for fresh, mineral, and beautifully elegant wines. So the color, it's a little bit too cold, but the color is, a pale green that shows, there's a beautiful light through the glass. It's a pale green color that is very luminous, very luminescent, and it gets a beautiful light. This is a beautiful light. This is a sign of freshness. You can see the fresh. I can almost foresee the freshness of the wine just by looking at how luminous the color is. Yeah. So let's smell it. Beautiful. So when I opened this bottle first, it was too cold. if it's too cold, you have a little bit of flavor of cat pee, which is not really is not really amazing. But I mean, we call it cat pee when it's cold, when it's cold. But you know, in reality, is a feature from Sauvignon Blanc. But it's a good quality as well. It sounds very gross, but it's a good quality. In reality, these notes of cat pee can be described as, you know, gooseberry and elderflower that we call sambuco in Italian. So that sounds much more charming than cat pee actually. So yeah, these beautiful notes of gooseberry and elderflower. Also beautiful notes of lilac as well. Very floral, and also a crunchy white fleshed peach as well. Very beautiful, beautiful perfume. So no, the perfume is very gentle, soft, and elegant. This is what I expect from wine from Alto Adige. This kind of freshness, this kind of elegance, this neatness, and this beautiful balance of all the components. So really far away from cat pee, actually. So let's see the palette of this wine. Beautiful, beautiful. This cleans, you know, the palate. This is exactly what I was expecting by looking at the glass. This freshness, this elegance, and also this beautiful sapidity, this beautiful mineral component to it. Very refreshing sip. So beautiful acidity, extremely enjoyable, with these beautiful notes of white flower and you know, white fleshed peach in the mouth. Very refreshing. But also a long lasting finish with a salty and savory touch, which cleanses the palate and leaves a beautiful fruity and satisfied palate, satisfied finish. I'm very, you know, my taste buds are very happy with this wine, and it gets, you know, the drinkability of this wine gets almost compulsive. You know, this is a what I call a false friend, because you just drink the whole bottle in just a few minutes and you know, end up drunk and happy, and you just then realize that the bottle is just already gone, you know. Very interesting. You know, this is what I expect from Alto Adige, from this beautiful region: freshness, elegance, and minerality, and beautiful floral notes, and this kind of, you know, white fleshed fruits in the nose and in the mouth as well. This wine has a beautiful jazzy kind of personality, and can be paired with I think risotto will be a good pairing, like an asparagus risotto, or light fish dishes like you know, ceviche from South America or Mexico, like raw fish, or fish carpaccio as well. You know, swordfish carpaccio would be amazing with this one as well. So very interesting. Cheers to that. Very nice. And also there's a, the more I drink it, so the temperature is going up a little bit. I have this beautiful sensation of like a citrusy note as well, of citruses, like lime, like yeah, like a ripe citrus. Very refreshing. Beautiful wine to drink by the pool, you know, just to enjoy on a warm day such as today. Was a pretty warm day here in Montepulciano. So finally summer has come. Very interesting wine. I love it. Yep, beautiful. Okay, this was wine number one. Do you guys have any questions? Now that your video is activated, you can activate the audio as well. Stephen?
How did you know I was going to say something?
I saw you was about to push the button.
All right. I want to thank you for choosing this one, Francesco. It's
Oh,
you know, the Sauvignon Blancs that we usually have here are from New Zealand or Australia, you know, which have this kind of herbaceous green pepper, you know, as you say, cat pee, which is characteristic.
when the temperature is really, when the temperature is cold, as soon as it opens up and it warms up, you don't have that kind of feeling. So this is an internal joke of our of us, like sommeliers. We say that it smells like cat pee, just to piss off winemakers. We just to make fun of them a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
But
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, no, no. But this wine, we actually opened all these wines yesterday.
Uh-huh.
We had kind of a pre-tasting, and this was my favorite wine of
Oh,
the wines from yesterday.
oh,
And
I appreciate it because it's a 2020, so it's pretty young. I think this wine can be aged for 10 years because now it is a thing now, and I love it too, to age white wines. I'm upside down. So as a sommelier, I suggest to open younger white wines and older red wines from a technician perspective. But personal taste, I like older white wines and younger red wines. I don't know, just a thing that I have, just sometimes when I have wine such as the one that we're drinking now, if I have 12 bottles, I drink, 3, 4 bottles when it's young on its young side, and then I forget it in my cellar. I hide it from myself. This is what I do. I hide wine to myself. So maybe in 3, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, I see that wine. I find out that I stored the wine there, and I drink it again after 5 years, and it's a completely different wine. So probably this kind of herbaceous side, this citrusy side to it, will be transformed into a more, uh, as I said, a white fleshed peach will be a yellow fleshed peach, more mature, more evolved, and also the minerality will be more marked. This kind of minerality, this smell of crushed stone that it's difficult to find here because here predominant is its fruity and floral side and herbaceous side, like you mentioned. But probably when the wine will be evolved, will be more mineral, more like a crushed stone, more like pencil case kind of minerality. So I appreciate that you enjoyed it. We go on to the second wine. This wine is niche wine, one of the smallest productions in the world, the smallest winery in the world. Chateau Garage, Sarteano, 2019, Trebbiano di Toscana. So some of my best friends are making this wine. I'm going to show you the picture. So you guys that have done all the wine tastings, if you did the wine tastings of the Super Tuscan wine tasting and the Brunello wine tasting, you met these people during our wine tasting because they were our guests. So yeah, I'm going to share the video. Okay. Oh, the beautiful Tuscan rolling hills of Sarteano. We are very close to Montepulciano, about 20 miles from Montepulciano here, southern Tuscany, central Italy, right in the heart of Italy. See, this landscape is just beautiful. The rolling hills of Tuscany, our beautiful landscape. Yep, these are these folks. Here you have Ugo Fabbri from the Super Tuscan Prima Pietra. Here is Guido Dispensa from Castellon del Bosco Winery. And also Roberto and Alessandro. Alessandro is the winemaker and owner of the winery. That, just a bunch of friends working in the same estate at Castellon del Bosco in Montalcino. And, they just gathered together and they started to vinify this wine. And they just make wine for friends. It's a wine made from friends to friends. So I'm so honored and happy to share it with you guys. The production is incredibly small. Only, I think they have not even 1,000 bottles. I think they have 800, 900 bottles. So I'm very happy to share with you guys. One of the smallest winery in Italy, probably. So grapes is 100% Trebbiano. Aging is 14 months in French barrels, a mix between old and new barrels. Altitude is between 200 meters and 400 meters above sea level. The soil is clay loam, limestone, and rocky soil that gives, I expect, good minerality. Average age of vines is 20 to 40 years. Alcohol percentage is 13.66. This is how precise they are. Price is 27 euros for the bottle. Okay. Here we are. Chateau Garage, Trebbiano di Toscana, 2019. I love these people so much, and I'm very happy to share their wines with my friends. So here it is. Nice. Okay, perfect. So the color is a little bit more intense than the one that we drank before. Straw yellow with beautiful light and golden reflections as well. See the nose? You can tell this is made in a much warmer climate than the one that we tasted before. Yeah, beautiful intensity of the aromas, beautiful elegance. And again, when my friends brought this wine, and they call it Chateau Garage, it's a garage wine because they literally made wine in their garage, in Alessandro's garage. So from garage wines, there is something very common here in Italy and France. You expect a wine that is not technically perfect, but this wine is technically perfect. Again, Alessandro Agravi is a professional winemaker, so he made sure that all the components were balanced, and the wine was technically very neat. So beautiful, beautiful a beautiful technique in this wine, technically perfect. Also beautiful intensity as well, with these notes of yellow flowers. Before we had like white flowers. Now we have yellow flowers in the description of the aromas. And a nice touch of yellow peach. Again, we have peach, but this time is yellow, is like yellow fleshed peach. And lychees as well. Lychee is this exotic fruit as well, a little bit of a touch of an exotic fruit. A typical note of Trebbiano as well, Trebbiano Toscano, is like white breadcrumbs. I don't know, probably sommeliers, they don't often use it, but it's like, white bread crumbs. Extremely elegant and neat as well. A wine that again shows technical perfection. So congratulations to Alessandro, Ugo, Guido, and Roberto for doing a great job. See the palate. Again, you would expect from Tuscan white wine more body, but this is very light-bodied, beautiful lean structure, and extremely enjoyable. Very nice drinkability as well. A very highly approachable wine. Again, another wine that you can just drink as much as you want until you realize that you finish the whole bottle. Because it's supported by a beautiful acidity and beautiful, pleasant flavors. Again, of peach and jasmine flower as well, like a yellow flower, like a jasmine flower, with a refreshing minerality and an overall beautiful balance. Very nice drinkability. I was very surprised when I tasted this wine, as I repeat once more, because I was expecting from a garage wine, I was expecting something a little bit different, but this wine is technically made and well tailored by Alessandro. Very nice wine. Like they said, a postmodern wine with an antique personality. This is how they describe it. So, you have the modernity of a technical, well-made white wine with the antique personality of Trebbiano from Tuscany. Trebbiano is the most important grape, the most cultivated white grape in central Italy and in Tuscany, especially Tuscany and Abruzzo. The next wine is going to be a Trebbiano from Abruzzo. So, beautiful wine with before the first wine had the jazzy, like a jazz personality. This one has got more of a pop, like popular music personality. It can be paired with, I think fried seafood would be perfect. Fried vegetables and fried seafood. I think this will be just outstanding, just outstanding. Good job, very nice job to you guys, to my friends that are for sure watching live us on Facebook. I congratulate with Alessandro, Guido, Ugo, and Roberto. Chapeau. The smallest winery in Italy. Okay, any questions? See if someone is chatting. Okay, I have no idea about who's on Facebook because I know some people are following us on Facebook. Okay, no questions? We can proceed to the third wine. Okay, many things to do. Drink a sip of water. The third wine is going to be this, oh, you can't see much. La Valentina, spelt Oro, Trebbiano 2018. From Abruzzo. Abruzzo is that region that many people, you know, that come here to Montepulciano, and many people, when I travel abroad, they say, oh, Montepulciano is in Abruzzo. No, it's not in Abruzzo. So the members of the wine club know about the difference in between Montepulciano d'Abruzzo and Vino Nobile di Montepulciano. So Abruzzo is the name of a region, and I'm going to show you the map. Located, you know, by the right here. See how beautiful the landscape in Abruzzo is. We go to Abruzzo every year with Mary because she's got family there. They make nice red wines, but amazing, amazing wines. There you go. So right by the coast, western coast of Italy, central west coast of east coast, sorry, of Italy. We are located right by the center in the heart of Abruzzo, the winery Valentina. So yeah, this is, you know, the winery and the beautiful vines. Okay, some technical information. La Valentina Trebbiano d'Abruzzo, spelled Oro 2018. Grapes are 100% Trebbiano d'Abruzzo, slightly different from the Trebbiano we have tasted before. Genetically, they belong to the same family, but there's a slight difference. So aging, 4 months of refinement in stainless steel tanks, then almost a year in concrete. Altitude, between 150 to 250 meters above sea level. The soil is very compact, from calcareous clay to loamy clay. Average age of vines between 30 and 40 years old. So we have old vines. For white wines, they're pretty old, 30 to 40 years old. So I'm expecting something, a wine that goes, you know, made from vines that go very deep into the soil. Hopefully mineral and earthy as well. Alcohol percentage, 13%. Price is going to be 27 euros. Okay, here we are again. La Valentina, spelled 2018, Trebbiano d'Abruzzo. So it's very interesting to see the difference in between Tuscan Trebbiano and Trebbiano d'Abruzzo. La Valentina, the winery we are tasting now, it's one of the most important wineries of the region of Abruzzo. See the color? Similar to the previous one, like a straw yellow, a little bit more intense, perhaps. A little bit more intense, probably also because it's a year older than the other wine. So see the nose? Yeah. Intense, very intense. Very expressive as well of the terroir of the area, the terroir of Abruzzo, with notes of like almond tree, almond flower, and almond as well. Aromatic herbs, such as thyme, with a citrusy note of ripe grapefruit as well. Very, very interesting. And a distinctive note of crushed stone, again of pencil, like a pencil case. You know, this is, I say 3 weeks ago, especially in certain soils that are very rich of clay, very rich of stones, and sometimes in volcanic soils, especially when the vines are pretty old, they go very deep into the soil. Going very deep into the soil, they get a lot of minerals that are underneath the soil. They can go 3 meters, 3 meters underneath the soil, and they get a lot of minerals. So, this is a wine that is it's got a kind of an earthy touch to it, and also this note of crushed stone that I was talking about before, and pencil case. So I remember when I was going, to primary school, or my crayons and pencils, I would open my pencil case and I will have this note of pencil. And this is what reminds me of this wine. Yeah, this marks the difference in between the Trebbiano from Tuscany and the Trebbiano d'Abruzzo. Trebbiano d'Abruzzo is often more mineral, and it's got this, kind of stony and crushed stone and pencil case kind of personality as well. Very interesting, the difference in between the two wines. So see the palate. Very rich and intense, at the same time fresh, refreshing as well, and elegant as well. Beautiful finesse and very beautiful balance of all the components. Good acidity and a final salty touch with beautiful notes of, again, aromatic herbs such as thyme and sage, and white peach as well, white flesh peach as well. Nice long-lasting flavor, this beautiful sapidity, this beautiful minerality as well that I have in my mouth. It's the freshness is refreshing, and this beautiful minerality as well. Very, very intriguing. Beautiful balance of beautiful balance of this wine. I think this wine can be aged for a very long time. It can be aged for a few years. You can forget it into the cellar for 5 to 10 years, I think, and it's going to become very interesting. I think when this wine is 10, 15 years old, still got a beautiful acidity, beautiful minerality. It can be compared to a German Riesling, I think. That type of minerality. I don't want to sound blaspheme, but can be compared to a German Riesling when it's aged for 10 to 15 years. Very, very interesting. So it's got a rock and roll personality, more like a kind of a rocky personality. And I think it can be paired with smoked salmon and white meat as well. And seafood pasta. I think seafood pasta will be beautifully paired with this wine as well. Very nice. Much more salty than, much more saltier than the previous wine. Any questions?
I think that it's really great that you had two Trebbianos. The garage one was so acidic, it was really great. But it just kind of was so bright and floral, and this one has so much more power. Yep. There's a kind of almost a it's almost a kind of you can taste a little bit of meat in here or something. It's
yeah, because probably because the soil is rich in iron as well, probably because I have that kind of minerality. Mm-hmm. Iron is one of the compounds of blood, pretty much, and also of meat as well. So it's pretty meaty as well, which usually you find this kind of personality in red wines usually. Like mm-hmm. We tasted, you weren't with us 3 weeks ago when we did the Etna wines. That the red wines from Etna can be meaty and fleshy as well. The reds especially, but also the whites, also because the volcanic soil is rich in iron as well. So the soil is probably very rich in iron as well. So this is why you get these kind of components. Very, very smart observation. As usual, you are a wine expert. I think, Stephen, you know what? You should lead the next wine tastings. Like tonight, I'm sorry if I'm not too bright, because tonight I'm pretty tired. I just finished a 12-hour shift at the restaurant, so my mind is just I hope as long as the wine flows and kicks in, I hope to be a little bit more, to loosen up a little bit tonight. But you should do the next wine tastings. You and Davidia, you guys should be the hosts of the
You know,
next
for
ones.
people that weren't, we were last in Italy in February with Francesco in Montalcino and Firenze and Montepulciano for the uh, the
Anteprima or whatever.
Anteprima and the
Benvenuto and-
yeah, and Benvenuto and so on. And if those open up again next year, which we hope that they do,
We hope you do it again.
yeah,
Fingers
and
crossed.
it was an amazing experience that you can really learn a lot. And besides learning a lot, it is so much fun. You don't have to worry about driving. There's a nice bus, small one. We had, what did we have, 12 people? Was it, Francesco?
Yeah, it was 12 people also because I mean it was like beyond the most optimistic expectations because I procrastinated too much and I just planned 1 month in advance before, like in end of December, beginning of January. Because we have, for the people that don't know about this, we have a week that we have all the previews of the best wines of Tuscany. So Saturday you can go and taste all the wines from Montepulciano, all the Vino Nobile. On Sunday you can go taste all the Chianti Classico in Florence, and the week later you can go taste all the Brunello di Montalcinos in Montalcino. The preview of the vintage that is being unveiled on that year. So we tasted the 2014 vintage of the Brunello, 2017 of the Vino Nobile and Chianti Classico.
There's the 15 Brunello.
Yeah, 15 Brunello. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. 15 Brunello. So, we tasted a lot of wines. We met a lot of winemakers. We toured a lot of wineries because I just booked a bus that was, driving us around. So we didn't have to worry about driving. We just enjoyed the wine and have a great time. So for next time, I'm going to plan it in advance. Hopefully, they will confirm the events on February. I think they won't confirm them until December, but I'm going to schedule ahead. You will hear from me in November. And hopefully in November, I'll be back to the United States. So probably I'm going to go to California. I'm going to come to California, and I'm going to go back to North Carolina as well. So North Carolina is where we had a lot of fun when we were there with Mary 2019. In Raleigh, we filled up a restaurant and it was amazing, 60 people in a restaurant. And thanks to the help of Vince and Candence, two amazing friends that are watching us online, and also another two amazing friends, Brad and Tricia as well from North Carolina were there. The DeHagen family were there from North Carolina. It was amazing. So hopefully this COVID will be kicked out of our lives and we'll be able to travel again without any problems. And, we'll be able to go back to our normal lives and we'll meet whether in Italy or United States. Okay, fourth wine. Now we go to Umbria or Umbria, if you want to call it with this, its English name. Tenute Salviano Grecchetto 2019 from Umbria. Gonna pour it. Okay. Here we are. Yeah, oh, beautiful. See the landscape, how amazing it is. So we are here in Castelluccio di Norcia, right by the mountains in Umbria. See, there's a little forest with the shape of Italy right here. See how amazing is it? We are in central Italy, in the green heart of Italy, Umbria. And we are not far from, actually from the border with Tuscany, which is like, Tuscany is like here. And here is Lazio, where Rome is here. And this is Umbria, right in the heart of, again, the green heart of Italy. Fattoria Salviano, Tenuta di Salviano. See how beautiful is it? It's quite close to the lake. The owners of the winery are, in part, the owners of Sassicaia that I mentioned quite a lot, both in the Super Tuscan tasting and also the Sardinia tasting of 3 weeks ago. Beautiful place. some technical information about this beautiful Grechetto, Salviano Grechetto Ambria 2019. The grapes are Grechetto di Todi, 100%. Grechetto is the most important white grape in Umbria, together with the most important grape together with Sagrantino, which makes a beautiful and structured, very tannic red. Grechetto is the, the white equivalent of this amazing wine. Aging stainless steel tanks at 18 Celsius, then aging on yeast until next March, and 4 months in the bottle. The altitude is around 400 meters above sea level. The soil, very interesting because even in central Italy, we had a lot of volcanoes. Think about, if you remember when we did the Brunello di Montalcino tasting, there's some volcanic soil spots in Montalcino and also in Montepulciano because of the explosion of the Amiata mountain. So there's volcanic origin for this soil as well, tufaceous with fine gravel as well. So we can expect minerality from this wine. Average age of wine, 20 to 25 years old. Alcohol percentage is, I got this wrong, 13.5%. Don't read this, 13.5, price 27 euros. Go back to the screen. Here we are. Yeah. The color, there's a little bit of condensation in the glass. Beautiful bright color as well. Another straw. It's more like straw, green yellow, in between straw and green yellow. Because the wine is young, 2019. I'm expecting acidity from this one too, because you see the reflections, very luminous, beautiful light to it. Okay, see the nose? Very nice and pleasant notes of white flowers. And again, white fleshed fruits, like lychees and white mint, almost like an exotic touch to it, like a tropical touch to it, like a dragon fruit. Remember during my trip to Southeast Asia, I was eating dragon fruit every day because I loved it. It reminds me of that a little bit. And also passion fruit as well. Some like very tropical features to it. These exotic features that is, I didn't expect from a wine from Umbria, to be honest, from a Grechetto. Very interesting. There's a dog barking in the meanwhile in the street. 2 dogs, interesting. This is, this is the proof that we are live streaming. 3 dogs now, it's a feast. I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, smell is very delicate and neat. It doesn't have much intensity to it. It's not as intense as the first and the third one, but still extremely enjoyable. It has a shy personality to it, but having a shy personality is not synonymous of poor quality, because sometimes you get some wines that are very intense, but they're lacking quality. They're not interesting. They're banal. They are, not interesting at all, not deep. This one has a shy personality. It's not really intense, but it's very interesting. I'm very curious to try it. So see the palette? Wow. Mouth-watering white. My taste buds are just in an effluvium of, freshness and also sapidity as well, with a beautiful texture and very nice freshness. It's a beautiful balance. It's a wine that, very well balanced from the beginning till the end. Very, very enjoyable. Enjoyable personality. I think it's a perfect wine to be enjoyed by the pool on a warm day. Again, a beautiful wine, very refreshing. This is so. If the Trebbianos that we tasted, the two previous one, the first one was more on the fresh side, the second one was more on the mineral side. This one is a mix of both components, both fresh and very mineral as well. I think, beautiful wine to be enjoyed by the pool, but also wine with great gastronomical use. because it can be perfect with any kind of fish. I think any kind of fish can go really well with this one, from, you know, prawns to till seafood, seafood pasta, and also like uh, fish carpaccio, and also fish, you know, main courses as well. Nice summer white with, again, with a beautiful, you know, jazz and, you know, jazz rock personality as well. Very, very, very interesting white. You know what? Umbria, like Abruzzo, is another beautiful region that doesn't get enough credit. A lot of people, I studied in Umbria, which is a beautiful region. A lot of people call Umbria like a cheaper Tuscany, because it's similar to Tuscany and slightly cheaper. Also, wine-wise, you have wines that can be found a really good price point as well. But you know, Umbria doesn't get enough credit from a wine making perspective. I think it should be more, you know, renowned around the world. Okay, if you have any questions about these ones, otherwise we just jump onto the orange wines. I get my Coravin working. Oh no, Mary opened all the bottles. I was meant to use Coravin on these ones, but she opened all of them. This means that I have to finish the bottles in the next 2-3 days. So the next 2-3 days, I'm gonna drink 6 bottles of wine by myself. Challenging, but doable. Okay. You guys have any questions? Nope. See the color of the orange wine. Beautiful amber color with golden reflection. So these guys, this is like the Ferrari of orange wines. You know, this is like the Pfizer of orange wines. We have a discussion here nowadays with vaccines between Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca, which, you know, so I just did a comparison between a vaccine and a wine. I just don't know why. I'm just probably too tired or start to be drunk already. But see how beautiful this color is. This color is just beautiful. This is pure gold, pure gold. I love this wine. Okay, so I think I can share the screen and give you a little bit more of information about the wines. Okay, we are in Friuli. Okay, we are in Friuli, right by the border with Slovenia and Croatia. So you see, the first wine had an exotic name of, you know, almost German origin, Fischer. This one has an exotic name almost of Slovenian origin. Damian Podvercic is the winemaker and the name of the winery, because we just right by the border. They're bilingual, they speak both Italian and Slovenian as well. You know, this is Damian with a daughter. They're holding some rocks, which is pretty much what makes the difference in this wine. What makes the difference in this wine, besides the incredible skills of this amazing winemaker named Damian Podvercic, is the soil as well. The soil is called Ponca. It's a typical soil, you know, rich in stones, very rich in minerals. So we are in an area that was previously under the sea. Collio and Friuli in general is an area that emerged from the sea pretty recently. I don't know how many million years ago, though I don't ask me, but there's a lot of sea fossils still nowadays in the area, and the soil is very rich in minerals. This is what makes amazing white wines and amazing orange wines, because, you know, orange wine is made out of white grapes, but not all white grapes can make good orange wines. You need perfect white wines that have certain characteristics, certain features, such as, beautiful, uh, a beautiful ripening of the grapes, obviously, careful selection, and also they need a mineral and a fresh touch to it to, you know, to sustain this long aging and oxidation process. So this is the beautiful land where Damian make the wine, and this is Damian. Literally, Damian Podversic and orange winemakers for 3 months of the year after the harvest, they don't get to have a life. They live in their cellar because they're always there stirring the concrete or the wooden tanks, making sure the fermentation they go well, they go properly. Otherwise, you have a high risk that the wine gets transformed into vinegar because the vinegar acidity, it can be the biggest enemy for orange wine. So there's an incredible care and attention that you have to pay to make these incredible wines. This is why it's difficult to find orange wines because they're very difficult to make. And sometimes you make orange wine and you want to make orange wine, but you make vinegar instead. So very difficult to make. Damian Podversic, Ribolla Gialla, Venezia Giulia, IGT 2016. The grapes are 100% Ribolla Gialla, which is the most important grape of Friuli, of the area. Maceration is on the skins for 60 to 90 days, according to the vintage. I think 2016 had 90 days because the grapes were perfectly ripened, and they had no botrytis, no molds developed in the grapes. So I think it lasted for 90 days. Aging 3 years in oak barrel, 1 year in the bottle. So the wine is being refined for 4 years, almost like a Brunello. It's not true that Brunello is the wine that is aged the most in Italy. You can find orange wine that are aged for a longer time than that. Altitude, 140 meters, 180 meters above sea level. The soil, as I mentioned, is called Ponca in Italian, Opoka in Slovenian, and is mostly sandstone from the sea, and stones as well. First vintage, 1998. Average age of vines is 20 to 30 years old. Alcohol percentage, again, I'm wrong, 13.5%. I see from the bottle here, not 14. Price, 52 euros. All righty. Here I am. Again, this wine. So, the last two wines, the orange wines, can be categorized as natural wines because they have biodynamic farming, biodynamic production, and orange wine with fermentation on the skins for a prolonged time. So Damian Podversic is the most loved wine by natural wine lovers. Damian's Ribolla Gialla represents the peak of orange wines, and it's used as a touchstone for all wines of the category, for all orange wines around the world. The two best orange wines in the world are, the most popular ones are this wine, Damian Ribolla Gialla, and Gravner's, that lives very close by Ribolla Gialla as well. That we are not tasting today, but we'll taste in the future, I'm sure. An incredible care for the vineyard and a meticulous attention in the cellar are dogmatic for this amazing winemaker. As I said, the soil is rich in mineral and extract as well, and texture as well. And Ribolla is an ideal grape with very thick skin for long macerations, because thick skins are very important for long maceration. It means that the wine can stand such a long maceration, such a long aging in the fermentation tank. Damian vinifies separately all the parcels in the vineyard and basically leaves in his cellar for the 3 months following the harvest to control each one of the fermentation tanks. It's an incredible work, trust me. This guy is obsessed with the quality of this wine, of the wines, and he reflects the attention and all the attention to details, and this meticulous, care for the wines is reflected into this beautiful glass that I'm holding. So, the color, as I said, is a luminous amber color with beautiful golden reflection. And also you see the swirl here, how the wine swirls, almost viscosity like a dessert wine. Beautiful, important concentration of the components here. Very thick wine. So, okay, the nose. Wow. I'm holding my tears because this is one of my soul wines. The bouquet is intense, extremely rich, comparable to a structured red wine. Can be. So I'm drinking this wine almost at red wine temperature. So, you know, uh, orange wine temperature is 15, 16 Celsius. Red wine is 16, 18 Celsius. So almost red wine temperature. So if you have it, if you are serving the wine chilled, please warm it with your hand. Otherwise, it will be a little bit too, if you drink it cold, because you have tannins on this wine, it will be a little bit too bitter in your mouth. So yeah, a beautiful bouquet, incredibly intense, incredibly complex as well. A beautiful yellow flesh peach, candied fruits such as dried apricots, beautiful, beautiful. Citrusy aromas such as almost like an orange peel. Uh, Aromatic herbs again, this like of herbal component as well, typical of the dessert wines of sage, and also like a toasted dried fruit such as hazelnuts as well. You know, the bouquet is just changing every time I smell it. It's like there's a adjective that sounds a little bit too, you know, posh probably, but I would say that is, you know, kaleidoscopic because it's changing all the time, dynamic, with an emotional and pleasant, extremely pleasant character to it. Again, this, you know, apricot, dried apricot, this beautiful exotic touch to it as well. Exotic fruit like, you know, passion fruit, honey as well, like a honey touch to it. Fantastic, fantastic. I just, you know, I just love this wine. I'm just, you know, I'm a big fan of this one. Let's see, you know, the palate. Extremely rich, elegant, deep at the same time. Very similar to a red wine. I can fool a lot of people if you have a black glass here. If you drink this at red wine temperature, most of the people would say that it's a red wine. It's difficult to understand the difference in between an orange and a red wine sometimes. Just the aromas are more intense in the orange wine. You know, the finish is deep and long lasting with good sapidity, good salinity, very mineral as well. This is due to the soil. And also, you know, the tannic, there's a tannic kick to the end of it. The wine is tannic. There's a slight touch of tannin as well, typical of orange wine, because even though tannins are present in all grapes, red wines, they're richer in tannins. Cabernet Sauvignon is richer in tannins than, for instance, Sangiovese. Nebbiolo is richer in tannins than Merlot, for instance. But Ribolla Gialla is pretty rich in tannins. So this wine is as tannic as a light red, I would say. This beautiful creamy tannin. Creamy tannin. I think this beautiful aromaticness to it will be a perfect wine pairing with music-wise. I play the card of one of my favorite bands, Pink Floyd. And food-wise, I think, you know, a blue cheese. And I think beautiful with roasted salmon as well, with aromatic herbs, with this beautiful aromatic touch of the wine as well. And I think Asian food would be perfect, Asian or Mexican food, because of, you know, the very spices and rich in spices as well. Food can go really well with this one. It has a generous and warm structure and kind of a tannic kick to it. Very beautiful. I just love this wine. I can't help it. Damian Podbercic, Ribolla Gialla 2016. Mwah, amazing. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions? No questions on the orange wine. I thought I would have many questions on these ones. I'm gonna put the sixth one. In the meantime, the sixth one is gonna be Dornak 16. Gewürztraminer 2018 from Mitterberg is the name of Südtirol, or Alto Adige in Italian. Alto Adige is the region, yeah? See the color of this? I want to make jealous the ones that are watching us on Facebook right now. Dornak is the name of the winery. Patrick Cuccelli is the name of the winemaker. Patrick is an amazing winemaker. You know, he's like a crazy scientist. Has a very small production. And he makes, I think, he makes 18,000, 20,000 bottles divided into like 18, 20 labels, which is from, you know, it's a suicide from sales and marketing perspective, but it's so amazing. Patrick is one of the best winemaker, and, you know, a lot of big fans of natural wines. They love Patrick, Dornak wines. Amazing, amazing wines with incredible, incredible character, incredible personality. Beautiful. Oh, this is in great shape. I'm just so happy to taste it. Okay, no question on the first orange wine. I remind you that this is, again, this is the Ferrari of orange wines. You know, this is the LeBron James of orange wines. And this is, you know, is not as popular as the previous one because the production is incredibly small. Only 600 bottles made of this wine. So it's a wine that is almost impossible to find. Luckily, you know, I met this winemaker and I fell in love with these wines a few years ago. So I always follow this guy, Patrick, very much because I think he's a great winemaker. Okay, I'm gonna share the screen, a few technical infos about the next wine. First of all, let me enjoy the landscape of Alto Adige. I haven't gone in vacation for 16, 17 months. And I'm gonna be stuck in Montepulciano, which is not a bad place, obviously, but still I have to be stuck at home for another probably 6 months. So let me daydream about the beautiful landscape of Alto Adige, right by the Südtirol, right by the Dolomites. Amazing place. I promise I will go visit Patrick. So this is Patrick and his wife as well. This is the castle where the winery is, the beautiful castle, Dornak Castle. Patrick Cuccelli is the name of the winemaker. See how steep the vineyard is. It's all, you know, hard work made by hand. So they have to work very hard. Again, extremely limited production, 8,000 bottles, 20,000 bottles a year, divided into 18 to 20 labels, which is crazy. I struggle to take count of the amazing labels that this guy makes because 600 bottles only of this amazing wine. See the scenario, how beautiful it is. This is the Piana Rotaliana, the flatland, which is amazing for white wines too, because the weather is pretty cold. But this is even more amazing because it's pretty steep and beautiful slopes as well, right by the Dolomite Mountains, right by the Alps. So Dornak, the name of the winery, the name of the castle. Gewürztraminer, which is the grape. Mitterberg, number 16, 2018. Don't get scared about all these German names. It's just, you know, that, as I said before, they're in Alto Adige, they are a bilingual region. Grapes are 100% Gewürztraminer, aging, fermentation in terracotta vessels with skin and stalk as well for 45 days. Aging is both in 50% in oak, 50% in terracotta, in clay vessels. Altitude 230, 280 meters above sea level. The soil rich in stones, marl, and mostly porphyry, which is typical from the Dolomite Mountains. Again, bottles made of this wine every year, 600 bottles. He doesn't make this wine every year. He makes this wine only when the grapes are good enough to support and uh, to support an aging of 45 days, a maceration of 45 days. So to make orange wine, the grapes have to be 100% healthy and in perfect condition. Otherwise, you develop this volatile and vinegar acidity. Alcohol percentage, this time I got it right, 14%. Price, 60 euros. Worth every penny, trust me. I'm a big fan of this wine too. Okay. 16 from Dornac. Again, this wine, like the previous one, is made with following all the criteria of biodynamic farming. For the ones that are not familiar with it, I mention biodynamic almost to every tasting because in Italy we are getting more and more attentive to natural wine, to organic and biodynamic production. Biodynamic sounds very naive. So again, you imagine a guy smoking weed in the vineyards, walking barefoot, like with dreadlocks and everything, not taking a shower for 2 months. But it's principles that our grandparents would follow. My grandfather, he was not a winemaker. He would make a wine that was like awful, like shitty white wine. Poor soul of my grandfather, but the wine was terrible. But he was following the criteria of, the moon calendar, for instance, because all the difference of farming, the moon would make a difference, the position of the moon. So, you harvest with the full moon, for instance. You bottle with the full moon as well. It's just the principle that my grandfather would follow to make farming, plus some, philosophy as well involved into biodynamic farming. For instance, they bury the horn of they take the horn of an adult bull, they fill it with manure of cows and bulls, and they just bury it into the vineyard. This is how they give manure, how they nurture the soil. This, scientifically is accepted, but doesn't justify the fact that it has to be an adult bull. I mean, there's also some philosophy to it as well, but it's very charming as well. So again, in this beautiful estate of Salerno, close by the Dolomite Mountains, close to the Austrian border, Patrick Uccelli vinifies these amazing wines, both white, red wines, and also orange wines, following biodynamic principles and experimenting a lot with vinification techniques. For instance, he's using, for the ones belonging to the wine club in 2019 already, you received one white wine. The only white wine in the wine club choices was the 1 liter bottle that was made by this winemaker. Only 600 bottles made in the history, only one vintage, 2015. And the wine was made with Phoebe grapes, that are the grapes that are resistant to fungi, the grapes that are cultivated in the mountains that don't develop any molds or any fungi. Very, very interesting. This one is made with Gewürztraminer. So Gewürztraminer is usually a highly aromatic grape that makes wines that are rich in aromas, very intense, but sometimes very, very rich in intense aroma, but sometimes they lack in alcohol. Rich in aromas and in alcohol, but sometimes they lack in complexity and personality and balance as well. Sometimes the Gewürztraminer, especially the ones made in Italy, sometimes it's just, you get tired after the first glass because they lack in acidity, sapidity, and they're just too rich in alcohol, but this one is very, very bad. So I was very impressed and stunned when I tasted this wine. And Patrick was pouring this wine and he said, don't don't have prejudices with Gewürztraminer because you'll be impressed with this one. He said that you will see another Gewürztraminer is possible. Not all Gewürztraminers from Italy have to be easy drinking or banal wine. Something more complex is possible. So the color, very similar to the previous one. Very similar to the previous one. Another luminous amber color with, again, golden reflection. Pretty thick as well. If you swirl the glass, you see the texture is pretty thick as well, compared to almost a dessert wine or a very full-bodied red wine. See the nose? Just love it. You have incredible intensity in this wine, which is due to the Gewürztraminer, which is due to the long maceration on the skin as well. But it's very pleasant, elegant as well. It's not just intense, it's also elegant and also complex as well. Very intriguing as well, because I have notes of like ripe pear, like a ripe pear, lychees, yellow flower like jasmine flower, a touch of orange blossom as well, this kind of floral touch of orange to it, orange fruits and orange blossom, very interesting. Honey as well, this like sweet note of almost like, yeah, honey. It's beautiful, neat, elegant. It's not just the complexity of it, it's not the intensity of it, but the complexity and the preciseness, the neatness of this wine is just stunning. There's a big herbal note of freshly cut grass. And this is due to the stalks. So Patrick, the way he vinifies the wine, while Damian, the previous one, he just put the grapes in it without the stalks. Patrick, he put the whole grape with the stalk as well in the terracotta vessel. He just closes the vessel. After 45 days, he opens it and you have the orange wine pretty much. So the stalks, they give more tannin and they give a beautiful herbal touch to it. Because the Gewürztraminer by itself, if you don't put the stalk, this is a very smart choice by Patrick. If you don't put the stalk in it, you just have the fruity component. While this herbal touch to it is due to the stalk of the grape. Very smart choice that gives a more ample aroma and hopefully even in the palate will give more complexity as well. Let's see the palate.
Francesco, do you mean stems for
Yes.
stalk?
Yeah, stems. Sorry. Stems. I don't know why guys, I'm just too tired. The 12 hours of work and now the wine tasting, as long as the wine flow, I'm just losing it. The grape stems, obviously. So let's see the palate. Wow. An explosion of aromas. You have pear, you have this beautiful aromatic component of sage. Again, a ripe apricot, orange peel, honey, all the smells, all the aromas that I was smelling, now I have them in my mouth and it's just a feast. It's just an effluvium of incredible flavors and a refreshing structure as well. So from an orange wine, you expect something heavy, something difficult to drink, something a little bit too thick, a little bit too rich in alcohol, but this one has got a beautiful balance. It's supported by a refreshing acidity and a nice mineral, touch due to the rocky soil typical of the Dolomite Mountains. And the tannin at the end, there's a slight tannic kick to it, is more gentle to the previous one than the previous one. Also because the previous one was fermented for 90 days. This one is fermented for 45 days. So there's a little bit less extraction from the skins. You know, the tannin is gentle, creamy, and lustful as well. The finish is never ending, refreshing, and of amazing quality. There's a slightly bitter side to it, which besides of the bitterness of the tannin, I have this kind of herbal note to it, of freshly cut grass as well, because it's due to the stem of the grapes, not the stalk, by the stem of the grapes. Thank you, Stephen, for correcting me. And it's very nice, beautiful balance to it. You know, again, um, the pairing can be, you know, this wine is this flamboyant personality. The wine pairing, I think, is hard rock music like Deep Purple, this flamboyant personality with the gentle and creamy tannic kick to it. And the food pairing, I think, is perfect again with Thai food or Mexican food. I think, you know, spicy food in general can go amazingly well with this one. And also, again, roasted fish like roasted salmon with herbs as well. I think this will be a perfect pairing with this. Wow, very interesting. I'm a big fan of orange wine. I know orange wines. I know it can be, if it's the first time you taste orange wines, it can be a little bit scary because it's an acquired taste. It's something that, you know, you have to kind of slowly get used to orange wines, because the first time I tasted them, I didn't like them because I was, you know, what is this? Is this a white wine? Is this a red wine? Why is there a tannin at the end of a white wine? But now I started to appreciate them more and more. And I just love orange wine. And a lot of uh, Michelin starred restaurants now, when they do the food pairing with every dish, they all have orange wines as well. I remember when I did the wine tasting with the Obamas in 2017, 4 years ago, when I served wine to the Obamas, when they were here in Tuscany. Massimo Bottura, the best chef in Italy, one of the best chefs of the world, he told me that he wanted to open an orange wine with the Caesar salads, because he wanted the Caesar salad is beautiful aromatic aspect to it. So we had a beautiful orange wine from Gravner, one of the top orange wines in the world. And I opened them, and it was a beautiful wine pairing. The chef was very happy, and the president and first lady were very happy about orange wine. Michelle Obama was very knowledgeable of wine. She knows her wines very well, while Barack told me that he's much more of a beer guy. Very interesting to find out about that. But Michelle, she, you know, she loves her wine, and she had tasted orange wines before, and she loves orange wines too. So it was very curious to see how, you know, Michelin starred restaurants, they all serve orange wine, because it's something surprising. I remember when in 2019 I went to the United States and we did this beautiful wine tour. I went to also in North Carolina, as I mentioned before. I went to Atlanta as well. Chris and Annette Bear are following us from Atlanta. And, you know, I traveled all over the US, and I always brought orange wine. Some people didn't like it at all. Some people were more curious about orange wine, and some other people, they just liked, it was love at first sight. You know, something very personal. But, you know, the more you drink orange wines and the more you start to appreciate them, I think. It's kind of an acquired taste. The first time I was scared about orange wines. So now I just love them. I can't help it. Any questions?
So I made a mistake earlier, and that I said that the Sauvignon Blanc was my favorite wine.
Mhm.
This is my favorite wine.
Oh,
This
it's
is,
a nice mistake. Very kind mistake on your behalf.
you know, there's a real difference between the nose and the palate. And the
Yeah.
nose, you smell this like it's almost like you know, a Sauterne, or an Alsatian, you know, like
SGN or something.
SGN, or
Yep.
and then you know, we got roses and honey and
Gardenias.
gardenias,
Yeah.
extremely floral.
Especially roses.
Yeah, but then on the palate,
It's very dry.
it's very dry and a bit astringent with the tannins,
Yeah.
which I kind of liked, and is going to be beautiful for aging.
Yeah, it can be beautiful for aging as well. I've opened some other orange wines because this guy, he makes, I said, he's an incredible winemaker, but he is just, he's a mess from a marketing perspective because he changes labels all the time. He gives numbers. So, but I've tasted his orange wine from previous vintages, and it can be aged for a long time as well. Also, Damian, this is a 2016. This can be aged for 20 years easily. His orange wine as well, because of the acidity, because of the tannin, because of many factors. Also
So
because the wine is really well made.
you said the Damian is LeBron James. This
Yeah.
is Curry.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Good comparison.
And
You
do
know
you know what we had for lunch?
what you had for lunch?
She made a Caesar salad.
Perfect.
That's why we
Interesting.
put ourselves off camera so we could chew. No, we didn't know that was what you're supposed to eat it with.
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful lineup.
Thank
so,
you.
So we can order these, I presume, right?
Yes, I'm gonna share the screen. I'm gonna show you all the prices. Here you are. Yeah, free shipping to the USA. The first wine, Fisher Sauvignon Blanc, 28 euros. Chateau Garage, 27 euros. La Valentina Trebbiano d'Abruzzo 2018, 27 euros. The Grechetto from Umbria, 27 euros. A Damian Ribolla Gialla 2016, 52 euros. And the last one, 60 euros. So the deals are, the wine bundles are 12 bottles combined. So 2 of each wine, 420 euros. For 12 bottles of your choice, you get 5% discount, 24 bottles of your choice, 10% discount, 36 bottles or more, 12% discount. Okay. Perfect. I'm just gonna finish this glass. My working day has come to an end, so I can finally get drunk. I deserve it. Sorry if I wasn't too precise tonight, but it's been a long week because we are understaffed at the restaurant. So I'm working 12 hours a day at the restaurant. Today is Sunday. I'm probably close to 80 hours working week. So I'm just at the end of difficult week because my brother went to the seaside with my beautiful nephew because, the nephew needs a little bit of sun, a little bit of sea water. So he's very happy. I'm a little bit stressed, but I'm just, I was just looking forward to tonight because I love white wines. And I think another thing that I forgot to mention during the presentation, you guys come to Tuscany. Obviously, you are red wine focused because this is a red wine focused winemaking area. Obviously, Tuscany is famous for red wines, super Tuscans, for Brunello di Montalcino, Chianti Classico, Vino Nobile. We have some good whites such as Vermentino from the coast, Trebbiano from the inland, and also Vernaccia di San Gimignano, obviously. But you come here mostly for, red wines, and I understand that. But Italian white wine, I think it doesn't get enough credit, except from some, Pinot Grigio is all over the US, all over Europe as well. It gets a lot of credit, but I think a lot of white wines that don't get enough credit from Italy, because you have white wines from, California, you get white wines from New Zealand, which, by the way, the first one we have tasted, very smart comparison by Steven and Davidia, with the Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, very similar. They kind of, citrus zest and beautiful mineral touch and freshness, very similar to New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. You get white wines from New Zealand, you get white wines from France, obviously, Chablis and Burgundy white wines and Alsace white wine and Loire white wines are the most popular in the world. But I think white wine in Italy is, pretty amazing. You have some incredible areas, you have some incredibly good values, such as the one that we tasted today, and then we have some amazing orange wines as well. So I'm very happy to have shared these, white wines and orange wines with you guys. And I'm even happier to share the sparkling wines next week. Next Sunday, we're going to meet again and we're going to taste some beautiful Proseccos, some beautiful, Franciacorta and other wines from other regions. Today we didn't taste any wines from south of Italy because we tasted a white from Etna, from Sicily, 3 weeks ago during our wine tasting from Sicily and Sardinia. And we didn't taste any wines from the south, but we have a sparkling wine from Etna again, 7 days from now, which is going to be very interesting. I don't want to create any spoilers, but I'm looking forward to taste some orange wines with you. So, you guys have any other questions? Vince and Candace from Riley, from Kerry, how you guys doing there? I see Vincenzo, little Vincenzo jumping around. Just, little kid is my American nephew, Italian American nephew. I'm just looking forward to go back to North Carolina. See Baba as well there. And online with us, besides Steven and Davidia from California, thank you guys. Vincent Candence from North Carolina, little Vincenzo as well. We have Stephanie Strollo from Concord, again, North Carolina. Brad and Trisha from North Carolina. Hello, guys. Michael and Nula from Germany, from Munich. My amazing friends. Dailene from Colorado as well, Dailene Bennett. And, we have another bunch of group that will do this, the recorded version of this video in the next week because they couldn't be with us online now. If you have any other questions, I'm more than happy to reply to you guys. Otherwise, I'm just going to finish this and say goodbye.
Hey, Francesco, it's Stephanie and AJ. We're actually together in North Carolina. Just want to
Hey,
thank you. Yeah, ciao, right? I'm not turning my camera on. I'll spare you all the agony of that. Wanted to thank you for introducing us to the orange wines. This is the first time we've ever tried them. They're extremely unique, very, very good. And I am not always a fan of white wine, but I think you may have changed my mind a bit. So grazie mille, and I will see you next week.
well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Stefan. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's beautiful to hear your voice.
I'll
I'm
be emailing you later.
I met you here because you met Erica as well. But I met
Yes.
you here at the wine store a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I think.
Probably like 4 years ago at this point. Yes,
Yeah.
we're planning on coming back in September. So
That's awesome.
once we land and I had that confirmed that my feet are actually on Italian soil, I will come find you because I'm not taking anything for granted anymore.
Yeah, you're right. It's like I said, it was like 2 or 3 years ago because for me, 2020 didn't even exist.
No,
I mean,
no.
skip from 2019 till June 2021. That's
Last year was a disaster for sure.
Yeah.
So let's hope for health, happiness, and good safe traveling in the future for sure.
yeah. Well, thank you guys very much. So
You're
hello
welcome.
there.
Thank you.
You guys in North Carolina. I'm sure next time I will go to North Carolina, I will let you know and we'll meet.
Yeah, I'm in the Charlotte area, and AJ's
Charlotte area.
he's in Jersey. So we just happen to be together this weekend and next weekend when you do your Prosecco. So it's a treat for me for sure.
Yeah. Well, appreciate it, guys. You have been in all the wine tastings that we have done.
I have, and you've never seen my face, and we're going to keep it that way for the next week as well.
Well,
I'm not photogenic, but
if people that are following see my ugly face the whole time for 2.5 hours, just speaking all the time with my bad accent, with my bold hair, we just how bad can it be? Like you can't get worse than having my face for 2 hours in the TV screen in your beautiful houses. It can get worse than that.
everyone on these calls, I'm sure they adore you. So
well, this is friendship, which is a different thing. You're amazing. You guys are amazing friends. It's like this is why you support me, and this is why
well, go get some sleep. We know it's been a rough couple of weeks for you.
Yeah, I mean, luckily though, I'm not complaining about the fact that we are tired and over stressed from work, because this is good. Hello, Enzo. Little kid is waving at us. My American nephew, I love you. Luckily, despite the ugly father, you're a beautiful boy.
you're gonna get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, no, I mean, Vincent is my, my American brother. So I just love the guy. We make fun all the time. He's just a great guy.
You have a good
Candace
night.
as
Thank you
well.
for doing
Candace as
these.
well, my American sister as well. So you guys are amazing. Well, thank you. Thank you guys very much for being with us. Thanks, Stephen and Davidia. Thank you, Michael and Nula. I think they will watch it in the next day's recorded. And we have other 3-4 groups that will watch the recorded version of this. And, Chris and Annette Bear from Atlanta, I love you guys. And Brad and Trisha as well from North Carolina. I love you. I love you all, guys. Darlene as well from Colorado. Just thank you very much for being with us one more time. See you next week. Yeah. Bye.
Thank
Enzo.
you.
Bye-bye. Little boy. Beautiful little boy right there. Yay. Ciao, guys.
Job.
Ciao, ciao.